Pound.
In a world,
Shut the hell up.
where Carolina Panthers fans
Anthony from Charlotte, keep motherfucking pounding.
have an insatiable thirst
I need to see a lot more of that shit going forward.
for Panthers news and opinions.
All my C3 brethren from the C3 Legion.
Only one podcast roars ferociously.
The longest running Panthers podcast on the internet.
It's the C3 Panthers Podcast.
Oh, Greg, I owe y'all $100 now.
Are the Carolina Panthers fighting for legitimacy in 2025? Rookie minicamps popped off. The schedule release has occurred. And Carolina Panther fans out there are hungry for some news on the team, even though we're entering the starving time of the team itself. But we'll be happy that we're here hanging out on the C3 Panthers Podcast, the longest running Panthers podcast on the internet, wherever you get your news, opinions. We bring it to you every Tuesday night, live at 9 p.m. A little late tonight as we're trying to pop off. Hey, I've been moving. It's been tough. But guess what? We still here, folks. Welcome to the C3 Panthers Podcast. My wheelman, Cody Lack. Good to be with you, brother.
Tony Dunn. As you know, no matter what time of year it is, there's nowhere I'd rather be on a Tuesday night than here with my boys talking Panther football. Tony, I feel like I've done nothing but react to this schedule. However, we have to get you and CK to react to it for the first time tonight. We have some evidence that maybe Bryce Young is looking to have a breakout year in 2025. And also Dave Portnoy throwing shade at the Carolina Panthers, saying how we're an irrelevant team. Tony, you know we always have a stacked show for the C3 Legion. The best damn Panther fans in all of YouTube, as I call them. You know them at C3 Anthony, Dan Floyd, Eric Blair, Forest City Kitty, G Baby in the house, James Island Panther, John B. Jenkins, Rock Rhyme, VR the Hope Dealer, and Panther Pickle. Tony Dunn, ain't nothing to it but to do it, brother. Let's roll.
The number is 252-228-5098. That's 252-228-5098. Y'all in the chat, let me know if the mic is sounding right. Good Lord, been a long time since I've been on the sticks. I've been a vagabond doing this out of bathrooms, out of hotels, motels, other people's houses. Now I'm doing it in my house. I'm happy to be back on the sticks again. CK, the man with the golden pipes, never sounds poor, never sounds echoey. It always sounds beautiful. Good to be with you, my friend.
Man, I'm just happy to be here with the fellas after having a week off, if you will. At least some of us. Cody probably could have taken a day and nobody would have blamed him for not having to be here today, being that much of the stuff we're going to talk about is stuff he has talked about ad nauseum at this point in time. But it's it's another week, another show, another somehow a show that's probably going to go for 3 hours, even though there's no content that justify it. So we'll see how it rolls, man. But I'm just happy to be here with you fellas and able to enjoy this right as we start to have to start thinking about planning a FanFest trip so that we can all be able to.
Dude, the C3 Legion has already spoken how excited they are to descend upon back together Saturday. We're thinking about buying out entire rows, baby.
What's the date on that?
August 2nd.
August 2nd.
Y'all better mark that in your calendar, boys. C3 Legion's not fucking around this year.
I'll be there.
We want to do the big old group picture with everybody, man.
We're doing it. The number is 252-228-5098. Smash the thumbs up button, subscribe, be a friend, tell a friend. One of the greatest things you can do for the show is to just click the share link and put it on whatever social media platform you're most active on. Will really help us do well. Guys, let's jump into tonight's show. Are the Carolina Panthers fighting for legitimacy in 2025?
Yes, sir. So, with everything going on around the NFC South, a lot of flux. We didn't even talk about Derek Carr retiring for the New Orleans Saints and what that could potentially do to the outlook of the team this year. But like I said, we have yet to get Tony Dunn and CK's reaction to the Carolina Panthers 2025 schedule. Now, the reaction video was just okay to me. I don't know if either of you saw it with Xavier Legette speaking proper English in a mansion. I don't know. We live reacted to it on Wednesday. Boys, I've said this before, but some of my initial reactions, I believe that this schedule starts very favorably for the Carolina Panthers. If you're looking at the first 5 weeks, to me, there's no reason why we couldn't come out the gate hot. And I love the fact that we have a late bye week in week 14. And right after that is 3 out of the last 4 games of the season are all division opponents. So if you're looking to make a push to win the NFC South at the end of the year, that's a very favorable bye week in my estimation. Tony Dunn, what do you think about the Panthers 2025 schedule?
Speaking of the bye week, I think it's too late. I mean, I guess when you're in an 18-week season, though, is that now what feels like what was late before? I always kind of want it smack in the middle, in a sense. I'd rather have a late bye week than an early one, though.
Yeah, I agree with that.
As you're trying to make a push, maybe you can get some guys healthy again late in the season, bring some dudes back, or give them a break.
That's what I'm saying.
Right. So, I mean, it's not the worst, not the I think that the NFL needs to start thinking about going to a 2 bye week system for teams for the season. Once you're getting
especially
to these
18 weeks, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you're getting all these games. You're getting 17 games. They want to make it 18 games in the future.
Oh, they're going to make it 18 games.
But that's the way to do it. And guess what? The bye week, you give team 2 bye weeks, it makes better football teams.
Well, you got to keep in mind, additionally, they've actually added this game. They've added people to the playoffs and then removed a bye week from the playoffs. So, they've actually just added more games and less breaks in a lot of ways, even though that bye week only impacted 2 teams in the playoffs. There's 2 now that are no longer getting those bye weeks in the second seed in the NFC or AFC. And so I think, I don't think there's a negative to doing a bye week or double bye week, if you will. Have the season go out 19 weeks. You're able to have football for an extra week. And then if you end up having to add that extra game, like Cody is saying that we're going to have, then now you're talking about 20 weeks of football, and then the playoffs. And so I think I agree. I think a later bye week, by the way, it makes way more sense to me in this instance, because my hope is that we're going to be able to become who we want to be in a consistent way. And a bye week, I think, could throw that off if we were early on in the season. And so later on in the season, we are going to be who we are. And then we're going to be able to prepare and be a little bit more fresh than New Orleans, Tampa, or Seattle. But my question is this the latest bye week possible? Is there no bye weeks after this, I'm guessing?
That probably makes sense. I mean,
it's hard to imagine bye weeks much later than that. Yeah, really.
All right.
Yeah.
So another thing that sticks. Oh, where are we going?
Well, no, this is just relevant to it. So, in 2003, the Carolina Panthers opened up their season against the Jacksonville Jaguars. The other time that happened,
2015. We were there. I was there.
2015. The Carolina Panthers again opened this year with the Jacksonville Jaguars. You want to hear another fun little fact, Tony?
Let's hear it.
This year will be 10 years since the Panthers went to the Super Bowl. It was 2015. We're going on 2025. The Super Bowl this year. Care to guess where that's at?
Jacksonville.
How about Santa Clara, California?
Oh, okay.
Where the Panthers
lost
their last Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's right.
A lot of synchronicity, man. I don't know if you're superstitious or anything.
And what was it, 04? or 03, was it 04? So it was 11 years. It was almost 10 years to the dot on the first Super Bowl. It wasn't 05, it was 03.
Oh, no, the
04.
chat room is telling me that I'm wrong. And then in 2014, we opened with them. Don't kill my vibe, chat. Let me live in my illusion where us playing the Jaguars instantly means we're going to the Super Bowl, okay?
We
Don't
did
pee in my
play the
cornflakes.
Jags in 2015 in that Super Bowl year because I went with the Roaring Riot on the Roaring Riot trip, and that was when Josh Norman had to pick 6 for a touchdown in that game. I mean, we put the business. It was a great game, and like Josh Norman, I don't know if it was week 2, maybe it was. Anyway, it was a fun time. Roaring Riot, those trips were great. We had a good time there, and it was a good game. And so, all right, so we stick out with that. You get the Jags. It's gonna be fun. One of my best friends is a Jags fan, so we'll be. I wish it was in Charlotte so we could go. Him and I could go. He's so competitive. He loves his Jags, even though it's a something we understand too, and that is it's a love-hate relationship or a little sadism involved there. Speaking about the schedule, the first thing that sticks out to me are weeks 1 through 4. All a real ability to get off to a good start based on only based on the performances of teams last year. Right. So it's so hard. It's so easy to just say teams are going to be similar to what they were last year. The Cardinals are a tough, they were up and down last year, but they're not an easy out. But weeks 1, Jags, Cardinals, you got 2 road games. And then you get the Falcons at home, and you're on the road again against the Patriots. All 4 of those games to me seem like we're going to be walking into those believing we can win, right? Or expecting to.
Yeah.
I even start to think this is that things don't really the tough part of the schedule to me is weeks 8 and 9, Bills and Packers.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you get a Monday night football game. We're in the prime time again. So you're going to be in the at the 49ers, and cool storylines there when it comes
Monday
to
Night Football too.
Yeah. Monday Night Football. And then so we have a prime time game against the tough opponents, right? That also had some bumps in their road last year. And a lot of that had to do with the absence of Christian, or some of that had to do with the absence of Christian McCaffrey. So those storylines intertwine. So you get that kind of here, first part of the season, first part of the schedule seems winnable to me. I think 8 weeks, 8 and 9 are kind of a difficult road, back-to-back opponents. And that Monday Night Football game with the Christian McCaffrey storyline is interesting. And then the last part is clearly what you mentioned, that almost all of the division games come from week 10 and beyond.
Yeah.
But there's this run from week 15 through 18 where you play the Saints, Bucks, Seahawks, and then Bucks again. And right now, I don't believe anybody thinks that the Saints are going to be the team. I think the Falcons resemble a lot of what the Panthers did last year, right? Is that a team that starting to maybe believe in a rookie quarterback and going into his second year with a defense that's struggle bus, right? So I think the Bucks are the toast of the NFC South until someone knocks them off. But you know what? You get a chance to chart your course and win that division at the end. And that's going to be a fun couple of weeks of football.
Yeah, we really hold our destiny in the palm of our hands. And as you said, you have to, if someone's going to dethrone Tampa Bay, you have to beat them. And literally the final 3 weeks of the season, we're going to play them twice. So to me, that's exciting, man. I really like I like our chances in a lot of these games. Before we move on, boys, what do you obviously we're going to change our mind a million times, but what is your ceiling, or what's your floor number for a win-loss record, and what's your ceiling number for what's possible? Like, what's the lowest win-loss record you see? What's the highest win-loss record you see? And chat, y'all put your predictions in the chat room too, and we'll compare it with the boys here. Tell me, what do you think, man?
God, how do you even answer that question, CK?
I think that the floor is absolutely 5. I don't see us losing more than 5 with this schedule. You have a lot of teams trying to rebuild right now on this list. From the Saints, right now, which appears to be a sweep for us based on the way that they've been just kind of imploding at the position. Getting rid of Chris Olave, isn't that where did he go?
Chris Olave, I think he's still with the Saints.
Oh, is he still, or is he on the trade block? Is that what's happening?
Well, there was rumors that they were going to trade him, but dude, now that they have no Derek Carr, there's no way you can trade Olave.
Well,
no, he's still there.
That's why you would. They're in a full rebuild right now. Like you kind of have to just get rid of the assets like you talked about. But anyway, you have the Saints kind of going through a situation. You have the Rams, really a big question mark of what they're going to look like come this fall. They've gotten a few pieces, but you get rid of Cooper Kupp, and you have an aging Matthew Stafford, who certainly didn't look like he was the Matthew Stafford of old this past year. Arizona, like you talked about, it's not an easy out, but it certainly has been kind of almost a certainty that we beat them when we played them here as of the past 10 years. The Jets right now, I mean, Justin Fields, but beyond that, they're a team in disarray. The Cowboys right now, they have Dak Prescott coming back, but again, still a lot of question marks around that offense. The Patriots, I mean, yes, I mean, you have a lot of people, a lot of teams on this list that are just, you don't know about it. I'm going to be interested to see that week 1, to be honest with you. There's a lot of storylines around that Jacksonville Jaguars game.
Huge.
What I think is, it's going to be a lot of eyes on that game for one reason only, and it has nothing to do with the Panthers. It has everything to do with, Travis Hunter. But I think that we're going to have an opportunity to see a Travis Hunter versus Tet opportunity, and that'll be interesting if we can get Tet to make Travis Hunter look foolish out there, if he's defending him, that is.
So there's clips going around of Travis Hunter at Jaguars minicamp, and just like running the most, he's not stopping on a dime like a wide receiver is supposed to. So people are already waving the alarm flags of is he overrated as a wide receiver? Where are they going to play him? Yeah, that's going to be a great litmus test of where the Panthers are.
Yeah.
Five
wins is floor. Yeah, 5 is floor for me.
Tony.
Floor is 6, ceiling's 10.
So 6 wins at the least.
Yeah, I think it's a real disappointment. I think the Panthers, this is the way I'm looking at it, is your first 4 weeks. Best case or like a great case scenario is 3-1. Worst case scenario, and like as a fan, is 2-2 in weeks 1 through 4, right? I think best case scenario, so you're looking at 3 right there, right? Then you say you get the Saints twice. So at the worst, you split, right? That's 4. And you split with the Bucks, that's 5. And I think you get 1 win out of the Dolphins, Cowboys, Jets, right? I think that's the floor for me. I think, though, the ceiling, or what I want to see this team do is go 3-1 to start. Then you get Dolphins, Cowboys, Jets. You take 2 of those games. Say you get the Dolphins and the Jets as a win, or the Cowboys and the Jets as a win. It's 5.
Yeah.
Then I think you could sweep the Saints. That's 7.
Yeah.
You split with the Bucks. That's 8. And you win maybe a Seahawks or Packers games. That's Packers match.
What's the surprise game?
10.
So, for example, could we beat Buffalo at home?
No.
Another scenario that somebody gave to me, right? Let's say we actually start 4-0. We
Yeah,
beat
I mean, possible.
we beat Jacksonville, Arizona, Atlanta, and the Patriots. By the way, all those teams picked in the top 15. I believe so. I believe the Cardinals picked in the top 15. But then you play two tough teams, but they're both at home. You play Miami at home and the Cowboys at home. Now,
the Cowboys game is a home game for Cowboys.
But that's what I'm saying, that it's interesting. If the Panthers are riding a 4-game win streak coming into that 2-game matchup against the Dolphins and the Cowboys, could we make a little presence for ourselves at our own stadium against two blue blood NFL franchises?
I mean, I like to think that the Panthers are going to win if this team's going to be good. I think they have to win one of those games in week 5 and 6.
I think
They're going to
it's
beat
more
one
than
of those
possible.
teams.
I don't think the Dallas Cowboys are as hard of an out as you think they are.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I don't even think the Dolphins are, to be honest.
Yeah, it just depends upon which version of the Dolphins we get. Because last year they were so hit or miss. It was
they've
like
lost a lot of people too.
Yeah,
It would be better to play them in week 16. I always feel like they start strong.
Yeah, that's a good point with regard to the Dolphins. I think if you're asking what I think is the biggest potential surprise, I think that as it may not feel like it's that big of a deal, but our one Sunday night or Monday night football game against the 49ers. Listen, the 49ers struggled last year. And I think being able to have Bryce Young come out here in prime time and actually, the team as a whole come out there. And this is like that part of the season where, because I mean, it was up until 10 or 11 wins that we were being slept on. And even in 2015, they were still saying worst undefeated team of all time up to that point. And then, so that week 12 would be the week that I think, even though we could be in a really good, position at that point in time, that's going to be the statement game that we need to put the league on notice that the Panthers shouldn't be slept on anymore. And that's my hope. So I think that could be the biggest surprise game for the Panthers. Unfortunately, the ones you think you're probably going to lose, I think we're going to lose on this list. The ones you could pretty much just say we're going to lose are the Bills. Honestly, I don't know that there's any other teams on here that I would say that are going to lose. The Bills are the only one.
Yeah,
people are predicting
what these teams are going to be necessarily. Cody, you brought up a good point about the home part, though. The toughest teams that the Carolina Panthers play all season long are at home. True. Dolphins, Cowboys, Bills, maybe the Packers. You can put that. The 49ers away, but then you get two other tough outs or difficult ones: Rams and Seahawks, both at home. I think the surprise game is the Rams week 13, but it is coming off a short week.
Yeah,
that's the problem.
They're a well-coached team. They still have Matthew Stafford, Puka Nacua up there. Didn't they? Who else did they get? They made another offseason.
Didn't they draft another wide receiver that is supposed to match well with Puka? Am I wrong on that?
Off the top of my head, I'm not entirely sure.
Was
but
it a big name?
So
wait a minute, where was Devontae Adams?
Oh,
Devontae Adams went to
the Rams, I think.
Did he go to the Rams? Yeah, I believe he did. Yeah. You're right.
Because I remember it was they got rid of Cooper Kupp and signed Devontae Adams to a more expensive contract. I felt like so you went with you got rid of an old wide receiver that was still performing well to go with a wide receiver and pay him more, if I'm not mistaken.
But that might be a good matchup with Devontae Adams and Matt Stafford, though.
I mean, any more than Cooper Kupp? Cooper Kupp was like he was just. They had some injuries. Don't get me wrong, but
nobody's getting scared by it though.
Nobody's getting scared by Devontae Adams either.
Puka's the one that's going to hurt you more.
Devontae Adams is still Devontae Adams, though.
Dude, did you watch him last year? He was not Devontae Adams.
Yeah, but he's also been with this whole sorry Aaron Rodgers bullshit too, of just having to jump around to wherever he goes.
Okay, he did get less money than Kupp. Gotcha.
All right, so Panthers schedule. You know what is the schedule? Doesn't seem like an enemy at this point.
No.
It doesn't. They say I think we have the 5th easiest, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe it's the 9th easiest. We have one of the easiest schedules in the NFL. Conversely, some of the high hitters in the entire league actually have some of the easiest schedules this year too, which is a rarity. But
Yeah. Now, I will say, I'm not just going to instantly count us out of all these games with some of the better teams. Look, let's be real. Who are the best teams that we play? In my mind, there's two of them that are probably head and shoulders above the rest. It's Buffalo and the 49ers.
And Green Bay.
Yeah, and Green Bay to a lesser. Yeah,
Green
so
Bay,
those three. And by
49ers.
the way, the Panthers played their best games last year against the Kansas City Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles. So maybe we have a situation where Bryce rises to the top and gives his best performances in games against the best opponent. So I'm hoping that's what it is. But I'm not going to count us out versus anyone.
I agree.
But just have to see what this defense is actually going to be with all the additions that we made in the offseason.
All right, what's next?
So a lot of people have been giving their predictions for the season, talking about schedules and stuff of that nature. Tony, read this super chat while I pull up a video to go with this slide.
Big thanks to Christian Hunt with the $5 C3 bomb. If only somebody was simming the season in Madden with rookies and free agents. Wink, wink. Thumbs up to CK right there. Panthers hurting some folks this year and building for the future.
Shout out to Christian. He's also been running Sims in Madden as well. So
good. Well, maybe he's the one doing it, and we can get like a simulation battle or with CK in the future. Or what do you call it when you collab? Simulation collab in the future, Christian. Sounds like a great idea. Thank you to all the Real AP, Nova Black, all the other C3 super fans for $1.99. You can help the podcast to maintain and continue through what has been some desperate. I feel like I've been in a desert of sports desert when it comes to football, but I mentioned this earlier. And I talked about this when I went on Pirate Radio this past Friday and talked about the schedule, is that the Falcons in some ways remind me of the Carolina Panthers, the 2024 Carolina Panthers. Optimism coming in off of a tough year, but a rookie quarterback going into his second year, showed a little promise, trying to fix some different things, and easy to get your hopes up too high. So, I mean, I do hate the Falcons more than any team, but, I like to think that logically the Panthers are the number 2 team in the NFC South.
Yeah.
Let's hope. Dude, there's so many unknowns going into the NFC South this year. To me, and shout out to Nova Black, we are not acting like Bucks or some chumps, but I just, to me, don't think that they are the world beaters that they're portrayed to be. I think that they have largely benefited from a very weak division for the past few years. And that's not to take anything away from them, but I don't buy into Tampa Bay long term. But as we go forward, we have to move into some shade that the Panthers have been getting kind of from a few different fronts, right? So everybody knows Dave Portnoy, the owner of Barstool Sports, is a very outspoken guy, and he had stuff to say about the Carolina Panthers. We are week 4 for the Patriots, and this is what he had to say about Carolina.
Carolina Panthers, most irrelevant franchise in football. Nobody cares about them. They draft a quarterback, they bench a quarterback, he's back. Panthers useless. 4-0. That's basically a bye week.
Homie said the Panthers are basically a bye week.
You know what is Dave gonna Dave? Well, he had this opinion, and I like Portnoy and a lot of things. I love his pizza reviews, and stuff like that. But he's got his opinion made up already, right, about a team. It doesn't have anything to do with the Carolina Panthers. Is to him, the Panthers have just not been of interest in his mind in football. And he ain't really
Yeah.
wrong on that. They have been
Nope.
irrelevant as a team. But when you're an outsider, right? When you are someone that is not a fan and not in the division, it's probably very easy to come to that, say some blanket statement like that. But overall, I don't really give a shit about this.
Yeah, I don't either. It's similar to last year. We had no primetime games, and Dave Canales said we've got to earn it, right? If we want, we have been an irrelevant team for a long time.
Yeah.
We can't assume people are going to look at the offseason moves that we've made and said, you know what? The Panthers are all of a sudden a contender in the entire league. No, we've got to be able to show that, right? You think people are out there going to be putting money on the Panthers every single week? No, until we show that we're able to contend, and Bryce Young can show that he's consistent at the position. It doesn't matter what we think is disrespectful or not. We have to earn that respect. And I'm not mad at him. If he wants to feel that way, he has every right to. He has no reason to fear us.
Lest us not forget that the Carolina Panthers started on a historically bad run last year at the beginning of the season, benched their quarterback. You know what I mean? Like, it is.
He's not wrong from an
faithful
optics perspective.
It's only the faithful who have been sitting here steeping in misery that saw glimmers of hope at the end. To me, this is nothing burger.
Agreed.
To get
if you're in the outside,
I feel like Portnoy's look like he's putting on weight though in his face.
If you're in the outside world, how could you blame anyone who isn't a Panthers fan for thinking that about us? Y'all remember that graph where we're the most losing franchise in all of professional sports? But dude, it's bad when it's not just other football teams or basketball teams. Dude, when the PGA Tour is talking shit about the Panthers, dude, why does StreamYard not put this how I want it? There we go. So the PGA Tour put out a post and then quickly deleted it. The PGA Tour trolled the Panthers on Instagram and have since deleted the post. It probably did not sit well with David Tepper, considering he was a member. He's a member at Quail Hollow and lives on the golf course. The PGA Tour put wins since 2022, 14 for the Panthers, and 15 for whoever the fuck this dude is. Okay, you might tell me more about whoever this dude is.
That's Scotty Scheffler. He just won the PGA Tour for the first time. It was he won the PGA Tour. That's the main thing you need to know.
Why is this even a problem? Like, they shouldn't delete that.
No, I understand. I think
it's funny.
I understand why Tepper is going to feel frustrated by it. Sure. But
who cares if he's a member of whatever? Come on. Like, this is, I don't know. Again, why would even people be upset about something like this?
Because people like to be mad.
Well, because I think what all this is proving is that until the Panthers prove otherwise, we're the doormat of the NFL.
Yeah.
We're one of the doormats. There's some other
who's
a
bigger doormat than us?
The Jets, the Browns.
Maybe. Yeah, we're up there. We are one of the most, based on our record from the past 5 years, we are easily one of the most disappointing teams year in, year out in all of football. Some of the games have been so abysmal to watch too, man.
Yeah, it has been a awful run. And last season you saw us in the depths of despair in the first 8 weeks. Like, it was, I didn't even want to watch the football games. I was pitching the idea of doing a post-game show where we didn't watch the games and we had people tell us about them.
And the people were like, no, you have to
things
suffer
were
like
that bad that we literally were thinking of ways not to actually.
I know. I would take naps during the games last year. Yeah.
Oh, man.
So, all right. The number's 252-228-5098. That's 252-228-5098. Cody, you want to take a couple calls?
Let's do it.
So what are your thoughts on catcalling?
Yeah, it's pretty. You shouldn't do that to somebody.
And how did that make you feel?
Very uncomfortable.
So how do you think catcalling makes the person feel?
It feels good, like.
Who's that cat sitting in the back corner with his face buried in his nose? Who's that kid that can use one?
Hey guys, John B. Jenkins here, calling in with a new season of your European League of Football.
John B.
Updates on your favorite team in the league, the Panthers Warsaw. Let's get it going. Starting off, the Panthers kicked off the entire ELF season with a 55-12 defeat or absolute drubbing of the Fairbairn Throners. Now, the Fairbairn Throners have the worst secondary in the league, so that helped us out. But we have a brand new quarterback. I've told you about him before. Dude's name is DJ Irons from Akron, and I swear to God, guys, this guy reminds me of watching a young Cam Newton with his legs, his electricity, his swagger. Just go watch the highlights, watch him run those touchdowns, and the dude had 5 touchdowns on the ground and in the air. We've also got Devin Burrell on our team, the top returner. He's also one of our cornerbacks. Dude had an interception return for a touchdown and a kick return, or maybe it was a punt return for a touchdown. Anyway, it was fucking awesome. And then to top it all off, the league has, this is the 5th year of the league. They've gotten more sponsorship money in, which means they're able to take a lot of those crappy European logos off of their jerseys. There's still 1 or 2 here or there, but they don't look like a freaking NASCAR team anymore. And our uniforms this year are tight. Go check them out. They got like a black claw going down the pants. Anyway, speaking on another Panther, my man, PJ, witnessed the Walker Wonder, started for the Calgary Stampeders last night. He went 8 for 16. It's not, barnstormer numbers or anything, but it's his first taste of CFL action, and I think they're about to witness the Walker Wonder up there in the north. Another Panthers team we do not want to root for, plays against our Carolina Hurricanes tonight. In fact, they're probably playing right now when this call gets aired. Anyway, this is our year as a Canes fan, guys. We are going to the Cup. We're going to win it. So fuck the Florida Panthers. They can go to hell. Anyway, that's about all I got for you guys today. I just want to call and update you on the Panthers Warsaw, the awesome QB we've got, DJ Irons. And then, just tell you I'll be here all season to, pop in and give you guys an update on Panthers Warsaw and the ELF action and any other type of alternative league I want to talk to you guys about in the off season to keep us going until we get to some regular Carolina Panthers football. That's all I got for right now, guys. As always, keep pounding Carolina Panthers, keep pounding Panthers Warsaw, and keep pounding C3. John B.
Jenkins. Love you, brother.
And tough news, the Carolina Panthers trail 3-1 against their bugaboo, the Florida Panthers, always giving the Carolina Hurricanes problems, as well as the Tampa Bay Lightning, 2 teams I hate in hockey. And the Canes, we hope, can continue this really fun run that they've been on, knocking big boy teams off at every turn. But now they're playing a big, fast, strong team that has always given them problems in their.
How many games do they play in the playoffs?
Well, it's 7-game series they're playing, right? So this is game 1 of the 3rd round of the playoffs.
Okay.
And I think this will put them in the Cup if they win this round. Somebody fact check me on that. But it's game 1. It's game 1 though. So but you want to set the tone. And the Canes have had a couple of games though where they've been trailing like this and come back and smoke them mugs. They did the Cats in 1 game. So look, game's not over. Hockey's exciting. I want to turn it on in the backgrounds, but I'm scared that just having it on the background on my TV back there might get us demonetized. All right, let's go to the next call.
It is a beautiful Tuesday, and it's a beautiful Tuesday for this freaking podcast. What's up, y'all? It's showtime. Lou from Fort Myers, Florida, not North Carolina. Fort Myers, Florida. So that's why I'm crazy, y'all. But I just saw this man, McMillan, Nalo, posted up for the Ricky pictures. He a little fly guy. I'll say that. He a little okay. He a little slick dude, bro. But, yeah. I I just saw this post, and I'm a little delusional, but it's in the Florida water, dog. Every time we beat the Jacksonville Jaguars, we end up going to the Super Bowl when we beat them in week 1. And guess who we got lined up week 1? Jacksonville. So if we beat Jacksonville and Bryce Noodle Arm Christopher Young, yes, Noodle Arm, leads us to the Super Bowl, I'll drop that title from him. If he gets us a winning record, I'll drop the title too. He get over 4,000 yards, I'll drop the title. If he drop a 60-yard bomb down the field, I'll drop the title. But with that being said, until then, he's still Noodle Arm. But shit, Peyton Manning had a noodle arm, so it don't matter, bro. As long as you cook. But yes, bro, I really want to know y'all thoughts on if we beat the Jacksonville Jaguars week 1. Do y'all really think we're going to the Super Bowl? I already put my bet in, $10 win me $1,000. I'm really thinking about putting 100 on it. And they got our line at 6.5. I'm a gambler. So they got our line at 6.5 wins.
I saw it at 3.
Or 6.5. Over under. So I'm really I
game.
really in my heart want to say over. I really do believe over because we got a reamped offense. This isn't Jonathan Mingo, Thielen, and
Right.
people are working it out. But the only thing that's making me hesitate is this defense. I didn't really see enough star power, but maybe these are just the right role players that we need for this team. Let me know. 6.5.
We talked a little bit about this earlier in the show, so we won't go rehashing all of that. The Jags, though, a fun storyline in week 1. 6.5 over under. So we were kind of really poking around that number for disappointment being 5 and 6 games. 7, 8, 9 or more, is being a good season. I think that is a fair number given the schedule. I would take the over if I was doing it, but again, that's from a fan perspective. And right now you can bet on week 1, right? You can get, I think the Panthers are 3 or 3.5 point dogs to the Jags. So if you do think the Panthers are going to come out and start that season out like that, there's a good opportunity to get a good little wager on that. Cody, I don't know how I feel about this picture.
Yeah, you're not the only one. He referenced this picture. Hey, man, listen, I think Nalo got some swag, man.
Yeah.
I mean, they showed the videos of him going back with his family in Hawaii and them partying and dancing and throwing down. Like, my boy, that's some personality, bro.
Yeah.
And, dude, I think it's lost on us how big dude is.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
6'5", right?
Yeah, he's like 6'4", 6'5". Like, the dude is a big, strong guy. Man, I'm really hoping that he has the potential to do something special this year, which we'll talk about here in a minute when we talk about Bryce.
I think, I don't know how I feel about it. I think I like it. I think it's all right. What I'm trying to remember this as I see this is that as I'm getting older, these kids are staying the same age.
Yeah.
And what we're really seeing is strong generational differences of people that have been raised in a universe of TikTok and videos. You know what I'm saying? So like the dances, the this, the that, like it's all very like
they've never known an age before the internet.
Right. My kids would identify with this, a lot. Like the things that he does, the way he celebrates, the way, so yeah, we're getting young. I'm getting older. They're staying the same age.
Yeah. You want to take another call?
Yep. Let's go.
DK, Tony Dunn, Cody Lack, the C3 Legion. What's up, boys? It's the Hope Dealer checking in real quick. Hey, I was hitting y'all up because I wanted to talk a little bit about expectations for this upcoming season. Now that the schedule is out, I wanted to see from y'all perspective, man, what are some realistic expectations? I'm not talking about the pie in the sky expectations, but what's real. And the reason I bring this up, I look at the moves that we made in the off season, and I think that Dan Morgan did a heck of a job. I don't want to discount that. But when I look at the depth on the defense, especially in the secondary, corners, safeties, and even linebacker, we're pretty thin depth-wise. I mean, I think that they made all the moves they could possibly, look to make in the off season to make a difference. But at the same time, I was just wondering, when I look at the schedule, y'all, realistically, I see 7 to 8 wins. I would like to see more. I would like to hope that we could do more. But I want to say that Vegas is saying 6 wins right now. So I don't know. I don't want to be, I'm hopeful. I'm cautiously optimistic. I think what we did offensively can help, but that defense, y'all, we struggling with some depth back there. But anyway, this the Hope Dealer checking in, man. Everybody out there keep pounding. I'm out.
Great call.
Keep pounding, brother.
Thank you for that. The Hope Dealer, the real AP. Yes, I am at my new place. Not the permanent podcast location at my new place, as I'm still moving in. But yes, I have a home, and it's a good feeling. When it comes to expectations, guys, I think in some ways that we get too caught up in thinking about wins and losses when we talk about expectations. For me, the expectations that I have for this team are that this Panthers offense develops
a personality, an actual style.
Well, yeah, I mean that it develops in a way that Bryce Young, that we find a resurgence in our belief of his future potential.
Yeah,
I think that you've put weapons and enough playmakers on that team for that offense to have some pop to it, right? So I think that this team, I won't say it needs to be an explosive offense, but it needs to be a potent offense going forward. I think my expectation is that Bryce Young settles in and becomes a pro, right? And becomes a guy that you can believe in. And my third expectation is that defense just improves, man. That they're just, that they just get better. They don't have to be awesome.
Yeah.
But they can't just hemorrhage games away from a team, or at least that's my hope. My fourth hope is that the Panthers are the second best team in the NFC South and have a fighting chance to win the division towards the end of the season.
Yeah.
I think it's until we can dethrone the Bucs, they're the king of the South until that happens. So I'm still hopeful that we're going to turn out to be a better team this year than they are. I just feel like they haven't had that fall off yet, and I'm just expecting it to happen this year. But we'll see. Again, they just seem to somehow maintain against all odds in their success. Yeah.
Well, you know what? The Bucs are the top until they're not.
They've been the most consistent team in the division, where the other three teams are the definition of inconsistent. The Saints haven't had good quarterback play. The Falcons just got Penix. Bryce has been up and down. It's not hard to be the best of that bunch. And I'm not trying to detract from Tampa Bay, man. Look, you have to win in the NFL. You have to go out and earn it. But
but they haven't been a 10-win team, 11-win team. You know what I'm saying? They've been eking out at 8-9, 10.
They're not world beaters.
Right. So, but they are the best team and most consistent. And right now, they're the ones. If you got to beat them. You just got to beat them.
How many years in a row? 3 or 4?
I think it's 3. Maybe 4. It's 3, I think.
Yeah, it's been
because it was probably the
same
division 4 years ago.
Yeah,
that was probably with Drew Brees. But we've talked about this before. There's a lot of people in the media though who are starting to predict that the Panthers might actually be a decent team in 2025, and partly it's because of what they believe Bryce Young will be, especially after you hear stats like this. Carolina Panthers quarterback Bryce Young had himself an impressive 10-game stretch to end his resurgent 2024 campaign, but the season could have looked even better if his pass catchers were more reliable. According to fantasy sports data, Young lost out on 210 air yards on target throws last year. And despite having started in 12 of 17 games, that total ranked as the highest in the entire NFL. So this is on top of the fact that Bryce Young delivered a 60% catchable ball rate on throws of 20-plus air yards without pressure in 2024. That's quarterback 10 out of 33 different qualifiers. So a lot of people think that with the improved pass catching and Ted McMillan, Nalo, if you will, T-Mac, however you want to call him, the addition of Xavier Legette last season, Hunter Renfrow is coming in. Now a bunch of people are very excited about J.C. Horn. What do you think is possible for Bryce Young in 2025 with all the weapons that we have made available to him and seeing those stats?
To me, these are like silly. Maybe I'm not good for a podcast, Panthers fan podcast. I'm like a curmudgeon. Like,
yeah,
what does that even mean?
Becoming.
You know, is it 4,000 yards? Is it this and that? You know, what can Bryce do is, or what did you say? What is possible for him? I think what's possible is for him to start stepping into and fulfilling his potential that was given, or not even his potential, but the idea of why he was drafted number 1 overall and traded for. I think that he needs to be a consistent asset to the team, one that elevates other people's games, not, becomes a Achilles heel for the team like he was in the beginning week or 2 of last season. Or maybe I think Bryce needs to do this, is that he just needs to step up and become a big boy in the NFL.
Well, is it a sign that there's maybe a little more
throwing less interceptions? I mean, really, is right now the touchdown number has been so low, right? It's been like 12, 13. You know, like we want that number to be like 20 touchdowns and 10 picks. 20 and 8 would be great. And I think if you're in a 17-game season, you better be throwing 4,000 yards. 3,500 yards. Yeah.
I mean, are any of these stats indicative of there's more meat on the bone that maybe we didn't clean off the first time around? You know what I mean? Like, especially when you look at the drops, that we had last year.
This is just stat. Like, look, you can, what is there? Stats, damn stats, and lies. Like, you can find all of this stuff. As Bryce played better, got better throughout last season, and that was in a time where it felt like fans, the team, the front office, everybody had given up on him, you know. But it wasn't like, I mean, I don't know if statistics are the thing. I think that Bryce comes out there and becomes a leader of this team, and becomes a guy who is dragging this team across finish lines, rather than or across the goal line, rather than crawling across it, you know. And that is like, he needs to be a guy that isn't the reason you're losing.
Well, that's sort of what we've said about him since we drafted him, right? That point guard type of player. We just saw Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy's now getting paid $50 million a year, right? And I have always said that the type of style, and people get mad at me when I made this comparison because they want to say that I'm like saying, oh, Bryce is the talent that's comparable to the last pick in the draft. Dude, I don't give a shit about any of that. Bryce Young playing at a high level looks like Brock Purdy to me. And what Brock Purdy does...
Black Alex
shorter
Smith.
Dude, he has the arm that's about comparable. He has about the same level of athleticism, and that guy just got paid top ball. And to be honest, I don't think Brock Purdy gets enough credit for running that offense as good as he does. So
and you know what Brock does? He's got a clutch to him.
Sure.
It's not about being the greatest athlete sometimes. It's just about making big plays in big moments. And
in
he's
college,
done that.
that's what Bryce was known for in college too. But, he had that 90-second drive to win the game at the end of the game against against Auburn when Auburn played Alabama. Like, the dude has that clutch gene to him. You even saw it down the stretch last year. How many of those games were we actually competitive in up until the very end? I think that's largely due because of Bryce. Yeah, go ahead.
The overtime game against Tampa. You have the Kansas City game. You have the Eagles game. I mean, we were on the 1 yard line with an opportunity to actually tie the game, or no, I'm sorry, win the game. And he was able to slip out of the pocket, get the ball down to Xavier Legette. And Xavier Legette got us like 30 yards on that catch and run. And then just a few plays later drops an absolute dime in the bucket that should have given the go-ahead touchdown with very few seconds left in the game. But man, it was, you're right. I mean, like, I think we saw it all last year in a good way. Like, when we needed him to show up, he did. In that back half, I want to clarify.
Yeah.
That
week 10 through.
Yeah. And so if that's what I like about this schedule, is that we start out with a bit of an easier track to allow him to get that confidence instead of just getting beaten down immediately. And then, because I wonder if he's going to be the type of player that is high based on his emotions and low based on his emotions and high based on the excitement, you know what I mean, or his confidence. So I'm interested to see how this season goes. But I think you mentioned it earlier, 3,500 yards is not unreasonable. And it's quite honestly expected. I think with these moves that we made in the offseason with picking a wide receiver in the top 10 after having a number one or first round wide receiver last year, I think if he's not coming close to the 4,000 yard mark, I think it's going to be a disappointment in some ways.
Yeah. I mean, dude, there's a lot of high expectations now for Bryce, for Nalo, that's T-Mac, for Xavier Legette. There's huge expectations. I would even say a guy that has a lot of expectations who maybe isn't getting enough talk is Rico Dowdle, just because he's been brought in to be that change of pace back for Chuba, and considering how much we ran Chuba, that's going to be a big time position. Lots of interesting stuff. We're getting ready to go over a few battles to watch as we draw nearer to training camp. But let's take a couple more calls, boys.
Yo, it's Bryce Young. Listen, man.
What up, Cap?
Kind of slow week, nothing really going on, but I don't think I actually gave my opinion, on why don't we get cut, because I honestly still don't understand it, because we're not putting a lot of faith in a second round pick and a third round pick, by the way. And I don't think we're that much talented enough to be cutting just players for the sake of cutting players. Because also, we're using the money to sign our rookies, and we could possibly get a corner or a safety in free agency. I have yet to see any signings. I don't know if they're waiting or what. So I'm just like, okay, well, what's the point? They say, we need playing time. Well, you can use Clowney as a rotational piece. I know we are probably better through this, but I'm just like, okay, you cut him. What are we bringing in? And I haven't seen anything. So that's my opinion on what's been going on. Like I say, not really much going on right now, but that's my opinion. Peace.
So I have this later in the show, Tony. We can bring some of this up now, but I have some options as to what we might be able to do monetarily and roster-wise now that Clowney is not on the team. But to speak on that front first, is this team better off for not having Jadeveon Clowney? Kev is a little biased, obviously, but, he did have a point that he was our most productive sack getter last year. You do have young guys that you're now depending on tremendously. What do y'all think about that?
Go ahead, CK.
I mean, I made my opinion pretty clear before we cut him the week before. I said getting rid of a guy who was actually contributing on a defense that was already pretty bad to begin with no real direct answer for what's going to replace him. We have some hopes, but we don't have any depth at the position at all in the slightest. And so this idea that we're getting rid of a guy like Jadeveon Clowney, with this defensive line being pretty thin as it is just not something that makes any semblance of sense to me whatsoever. I agree with Kev. I mean, I know he might be a bit biased on it, but I mean, and I'm not a Jadeveon Clowney. You guys can go back and look at how my opinion of him was when we signed him. Like, I think it was a solid signing, but I still, I think you can't get rid of your best defensive players on a team that already was pretty bad defensively.
Well, I think I actually, I was an advocate for having him as being a rotational player, a mentor. But I think it tells us this is that the Carolina Panthers think that they're going to be starting DJ Wanham and Patrick Jones as those veteran guys, with DJ Johnson going into his third season as a guy who they want to see and develop as a potential contributor. But then they also have these rookies, and there's a kind of a sense that there could be too many bodies at one position right there, like the position group being too big. And not that anybody's great, but there's too many bodies.
Yeah.
But to me, I think it really says that DJ Wanham and Patrick Jones are your starters. And the rotational guys are the other guys you're trying to develop. And you save a little money in the process. And I think it was the Hope dealer that mentioned how many needs the Panthers still have at defense when it comes to linebacker, safety, and corner. And so, like, why have so many players at one position group where nobody's any good and have no depth at other position groups? That's kind of the way I think about it. I think the Panthers are committing to development of these younger players. And development of these younger players means that they need to get more reps. They need to get an opportunity.
Yeah.
And now they might have to grow up quickly if some injuries happen. And I think Clowney is just was older, and that you want to go a little bit younger with Wanham. And
remember
Patrick
that
Jones.
DJ Wanham, he really turned it on at the end of the year last year, to the point where I felt that he was more disruptive than Clowney was. I think people forget that we brought in Patrick Jones the second, who was also good for, I believe, about 8 sacks last year on that Minnesota defensive line. But then on top of it, I think a lot of it is just how much faith that you have, not only in the talent of Nick Scorton and Prince Umanmielen, but also in your coaching staff and their ability to cultivate these young talents early in their career, to the point where even if they're just on, subbing in on second and third downs in situational pass rushing situations, that still leaves an area for them to be much more productive than any other Panthers outside linebacker has been in recent history. And I think that speaks to how much they feel like those dudes will be able to do for them this season.
Yeah, but I think that a lot of defenses that are considered some of the best aren't only good with their starting edge rushers, right? It's their depth that can come in and fill in. It's like you see those rotational pieces and they're still able to come in and contribute as well. And I just don't know that I have that faith that this defensive line that we have is capable of that type of movement in that direction. I don't think it's unreasonable that looking at our team on paper that we have it's a bit of a downgrade to go the route that we did.
Let's ask it like this, okay? Are we that much worse off being able to stop the run or rush the passer without Clowney on the team considering last year our numbers doing both of those things were still pretty abysmal. Now, you were minus Derek Brown, you were minus some defensive pieces, but like, is the absence of Jadeveon Clowney really the missing piece that's stopping you from being that fully fledged defensive attack?
No,
I just don't think so.
And I don't think that it's that simple either, but I also don't think that we have any getting rid of him has not made us a net positive. You know what I mean?
Sure.
There's no evidence that him being on the team or not being on the team that we're better off. You know what I mean? It's just like, we have too many holes for us to be letting go of a guy like Jadeveon Clowney who can bring leadership to a team that, you know, obviously could use a little bit of leadership in addition to that we have. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I don't know. I am of the mind that this doesn't make us better, and anything that doesn't make us better, what's the point in getting rid of him? Now, is it a net negative? I mean, is it a positive that he's on the team? I think, you know, personally, I think it is compared to what we have, but is it enough to be a needle mover? Absolutely not.
Yeah, no, great point. And also, I think that there's an asset to it where I don't know if he was really willing to be an Adam Thielen type veteran. You know what I mean? Like, Adam Thielen is a benefit to Xavier Legette and Nalo and now Jimmy Horn Jr. and these younger guys. Like, you want Adam Thielen around you. I don't really know how much wisdom Jadeveon Clowney was really going to be.
Why?
Partaking.
He's been a vet throughout he was a top pick. He's been an impact player throughout the league for over a decade. How can he not be?
I mean, I just really don't think that he doesn't seem to me to be that type of person. I think that he's the type of guy
like everything
who's a hired hunter.
No, he's a mercenary, as in no team wants to give him a long-term big contract. I don't really understand that. I think what it is that for me, I think it's like he can play any system. He can fit in anywhere. He can play a 3-4. He can play a 4-3. I think he's struggled with the injuries, and teams are worried about that when it comes to, and he's never been like the 15 sack consistent in and out. You know what I mean? He's like the 8, 9, 10, you know, around there. I thought he was great. I don't think, not great, but look, he was on terrible and nobody around him. You want to talk about this? We gave excuses for Brian Burns all fucking day. Right. As Clowney made an impact on the team. He was the best defensive lineman out there last year. I thought this is what my most respect for Clowney is how much of a voice he became and kind of like a constant in the locker room and behind the mic. I thought he was great. I think that some of these ideas, I do think he could be that mentor type player. I just think this is that the Panthers are sitting there going, you kind of get stuck with this is like, I don't know if it's like the Cam Newton effect or something is that when you have a guy that's on the bench who's always as good, if not a little bit better on that Sunday than the guy you're trying to make better, like you always want to play Clowney. Like Clowney is the guy to start every week. It's just he's not the guy to start
to me,
for 18 weeks in 2 years. You know what I'm saying? Like,
to me, that 1 year he was here is not enough for me to miss him. You know what I mean? That there's nothing about him that says that he's irreplaceable, even this year.
No, I don't think that's what anybody's argument has been, though. That he's irreplaceable.
So then why not use that 7.8 on going out and getting another big time player, specifically at corner?
Well, you have to do it. You don't even have to do a big time player. You got to get a player at another position.
Do you think
that's the reason?
You think, Seb, the money we're saving for Jadeveon Clowney is going to have us getting a cornerback or a safety that's of a higher tier than Jadeveon Clowney. And I'm not asking to be facetious. I'm, honestly, genuinely curious if you believe
I don't
that.
think. I think the answer is no, CK. But I think the answer is that we got to get a player as a backup at safety.
Well, so this is the
corner that could, and we don't need. I feel like we always. This is what people always go to is these names. We're talking about just a player who can play, like getting a guy who is like a Xavier Woods type player, getting a guy that's like who was the guy that we loved that broke his nose and when he played for the Eagles and he came here and he played safety alongside of Roman Harper on that Super Bowl team. Yeah, like that type of player. I think we get the internet and fans get too much fixated on these big name players when you need a guy that's kind of like a Mike Jackson player, CK. Yeah. That's where this money gets you is maybe you get one Mike Jackson or two guys that can be on the team and be
so right now
if their numbers called.
Your belief is we're playing Moneyball with this.
Yeah.
Because
and I think again, the room was too big. The room was too big. And he was just a little bit better than the guys or the same. And he's not going to be in the future plans. I think they got to move the money into different areas. I think you're moving, you're kind of diversifying your stock portfolio.
Sure. So again, I know the Panthers are never in the running for big name players, but again, if you're Dan Morgan and you see this as an opportunity to either A, re-sign Taylor Moton to an extension, which I would not be opposed to, which could also free up some money. But CK, if it does turn in to one of these players that we're going to mention here, then yeah, I would 100% be down for it. This is by Anthony Rizzuti of Panthers Wire. This is Jalen Ramsey and three other potentially available cornerbacks the Panthers could look to trade for. On Sunday, Miami Dolphins cornerback Jalen Ramsey hit quite the praise on Panthers defensive coordinator Ejiro Evero. And while it seemed a simple case of a player giving props to a former coach of his, the show of respect turned into something a tad bigger for Panthers fans. With Ramsey likely on the outs in Miami and Carolina still needing to fortify the secondary, could the Panthers look into swinging in a surprising trade for the 7-time Pro Bowler? Possibly. Heck, he isn't only the cornerback available right now, but it does seem like there is some fire to that smoke if he was willing to come here for the right type of deal. Now, there are other players on this list who are, in my mind, far more likely. So, Jair Alexander played for the Green Bay Packers, 28 years old, from the Charlotte area, played at Louisville. Greg Newsome from the Browns would be another great one. If Dan Morgan could use that money to grab one of these players, I think that would be incredible. And I would have no problem if that's what moving on from Jadeveon Clowney ultimately meant, is that you would grab someone like that.
Well, you got to get a player. I don't even care if it's those players. You got to get a player. Weren't we looking at Greg Newsome not too long ago? Like somewhere else. Maybe
he was in the draft a couple of years back, and we were a big fan of his in the process. And Will Horsley with the 10 gifted C3 memberships. Brother, we appreciate you, man. He says, if you're out here right now, you should become a member of the C3 fam. You won't find a more dedicated and solid Panthers podcast. If you can, support these guys. We appreciate you, brother. We are a year-round pod. We take no weeks off except for the occasional Tuesday, like last Tuesday, which both Tony and I needed.
Oh, we didn't even do it? Y'all didn't even tell me.
Do what?
The show?
Oh, you didn't know? No, it took last Tuesday off. I was feeling bad.
Goodness. Oh, okay. Well, dang. Well, you know what? We haven't missed a week because we got the Friday free for all.
But I did make up for it with the schedule release on Wednesday.
Yeah, haven't missed a week.
Yeah, we've been fucking kicking ass.
Guys, I was, you'll get to my ISO pick. I was moving, or I'm still moving, right? But I got keys to my house on Monday, and then Tuesday. Wait until you get my ice pick is not that exciting, but it is about moving in the rain.
Y'all want to take another call?
Yeah.
Yo.
Nope. Or that.
What's good, C3? This is Deez, and I'm trying to get in my cat call. Just 3 days removed from the Friday free-for-all. You know, I've been thinking since we were on the free-for-all about some things about these Carolina Panthers, and I was like, if only I knew the phone number to the longest-running Panthers podcast. If only I knew a show that was for the fans and by the fans. If only I knew of a community that loved to talk about the Carolina Panthers and NFL football. Who in the world would I call? And then it came to me. I said, I know, I'll call Cody, CK, and Tony. They love talking about the Panthers.
Yeah.
So here we are on the longest-running Panthers podcast, and I've been thinking about Chuba Hubbard's performance last season. He finished the year 2024 with almost 1,200 yards rushing, just a few yards shy, and 250 carries. All the guys that finished ahead of him, number 7 and up, because he did finish number 8 overall in the NFL, they all had over 300 carries. So Chuba Hubbard was able to finish in the top 10 of the NFL in rushing yards and amassed almost 1,200 yards while being injured in the last few games of the NFL season, and the guys ahead of him had over 300 carries. So how good does that make you feel about Chuba Hubbard? Well, you may say, well, we only won 5 games, Don. I don't feel that great about what happened last season with Chuba Hubbard. But let me put it into the history of the Carolina Panthers. In our 30 years that we've been around, do you know we've probably only done that 4 other times? And I say 4 because I don't have great stats and figures going off of right now. I have done some research, but I don't trust everything I've found. I've got some conflicting information. So I'm going to say 4 or 5 times is the only times that's been done. This is probably a top 5 performance is what I'm getting at in rushing in history for the Carolina Panthers, what Chuba Hubbard was able to do last season. You guys realize who finished number 12 in the rushing stats last season for the NFL? Oh, yeah, that's a backup running back. His name's Rico Dowdle. You might want to get real familiar with him going into next season with the Carolina Panthers. Oh, and did anybody tell you that we re-signed all of our offensive linemen from last year, even all the backups? Do you know what this means for the Carolina Panthers running game? Do you not understand this is a renaissance of keep pounding in Panthers football and what we're going to be able to do on the field and put this ball down the throats of the opposing team and impose our will? Chuba Hubbard, the man that has brought this team up by the bootstraps, leading the way in culture by how he acts after practice, staying on the jugs machine, showing the other players what it takes. This young team's something to be excited about, guys. I hope you have a great show. And just remember, here at C3, it's where the fans matter.
Keep pounding, brother D's. Love that. Love the brand ambassador. CK, dare I say it? I think we have the potential. This has the potential to be maybe the best Panthers rushing team that we have ever had.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I know that's saying a lot, but I'm looking at the investments that we have made on this line, the investments that we have made to the offense in general, and you look at what we've been able to do last year, and and even when it was Chuba and Deontay Foreman, like we were able to be some dominant run-first football teams. I mean, am I being too much of a Homer fan here?
No.
Like, could this team be the best rushing Panthers team that we've ever seen?
No. Oh, stop. Ever
Come
since
on.
stop.
All right.
No,
well,
I
then
mean, it's
who?
Jonathan Stewart and D'Angelo Williams. Double trouble. We made it to the playoffs.
He didn't.
Both had
he didn't
1,000
say
yard
it will
seasons.
be. He said, "Could it be?"
I said,
No,
could it be?
no, they cannot be. First of all, Chuba Hubbard does not have. And look, I mean, I know. Look, I've been throwing shade and smoke at this guy forever, and he won me over. But he's no Jonathan Stewart. Come on, that mug is not. Jonathan Stewart is a far better football player than Chuba Hubbard. Let's get over
Why do
that.
we even do? Chuba Hubbard is the man. Like that dude is one of the. He is a top. He is a top 10 running back
was
in the
the
NFL
man.
right now.
And then
Yeah, sure,
D'Angelo Williams has I think the most 70-yard. He's like in top 3 or top 5 in the history of the NFL.
How about this? Do you think that Chuba Hubbard can be 1,000-yard rusher this season?
Yes.
Okay. Could Rico Dowdle also be a 1,000-yard rusher?
No.
Just Chuba.
Yeah.
Okay. If Chuba rushes for 1,000 yards this year,
I just
isn't
think
he entering one
I
of the
think it's
best
all right to be
Panther running back
excited.
territory ever? If he's in that, if he has another 1,000-yard year, we're saying that he is one of the best running backs in Panthers history, right?
Look, I'm not trying to throw to bring Debbie down on your party about how good this running back room can be. I think it's just lack of respect to say could like the best. Like, no, we already seen the best. The best was Double Trouble. If you can be better than Double Trouble than that, you can't forecast that though.
Yeah.
You know, and that is look, I do think this. Now I'm okay with us saying, could the Carolina Panthers have one of the best running back groups in the entire league? I'm more comfortable saying that than I am saying could it be the best in Panthers history. Man, Double Trouble, dude. Jake Delhomme couldn't even throw the ball. His arm was fucking broken. Steve Smith was gone. We just ran our way to the playoffs.
Yeah, man. I'm saying this offensive line. Tony, one of the things I have said to you many times before, that if you want to be a great running team, yeah, it helps to have a great running back. But more importantly, do you have the dogs in the trenches?
Yeah, we have all three parts.
I guess the thing that I'm saying most is that this offensive line has the potential to be one of the meanest, nastiest run-blocking offensive lines that the Panthers have ever had. And Chuba Hubbard and Rico Dowdle are more than enough to put up some giant numbers behind this offensive line. That's what I'm saying.
All right, I'm all right with that, and I like that. And you know what? You have to have all the parts come together. You got to have the offensive line. You got to have some horses in the stable, and I really do like the Dowdle signing. I think that is a great combo.
Yeah.
And then don't forget Etienne.
Yeah, Trevor Etienne. We're gonna have to see what sort of niche he carves out for himself in this. It'd be
fun to put him in some pass catching situations. By the way, the Hurricanes are down 4-1 now. Not a good moment for them. All right,
let's take two more calls. Then we'll go through some of the camp battles. We only have 2 or 3, and then we'll finish the final calls.
Let's do it.
What's up, C3? It's Lucas from Forest City.
What up, Lou?
Want to talk to y'all about the schedule. So they released it about a week ago. And I'm not going to lie, y'all, it looks like a pretty tough schedule, and I don't see a lot of wins on it. So we got a lot of road games, and the home games we got, pretty tough. And let's be honest, I heard Panther Pickle say it, Charlotte's not really a good home city, and I can see the 2 of our home games, Dallas and Buffalo, getting took over. I'm not bashing the fan base. I love Panther Nation. I'm born and raised in North Carolina. This is my team. But when teams like Dallas, especially, they've been coming to. We've had like 5 home games the past 5 seasons. Dallas has came to Carolina, and they took over our stadium and they beat us. And I've had to hear it. My parents are Cowboy fans, and I've had to hear it, and not fun.
Yeah,
not fun
I hear you, brother.
I just don't. We've been losing the past 10 years, and I hate to be glass half empty, but when you lose the past 10 seasons, I just don't see a lot of wins. San Francisco is another tough team. We play them at home on Monday Night Football. Christian McCaffrey, if he's healthy, he's gonna wanna play hard for that game. I'm hoping for the best and expecting the worst, but
can you bring the schedule back up real quick, Cody?
Yeah.
Team. Keep pounding, go Panthers.
Keep pounding. I appreciate the honesty, man. I feel like every year we all get our hopes up, and imagine how many wins that we could have. And then lately in the past few years, we've been, almost setting ourselves up for disappointment. We also said last year that we had no reason to not start the year on a hot streak, and we didn't do it then either. So I understand Lucas's sentiment, and there are some hard teams on the schedule.
Kind of hard teams. We don't actually, there's a lot of unknowns. There's a lot of teams that we think are hard teams, right? Or I don't even think so. I think, look, as the Dolphins are a coin flip. The Dolphins are a coin flip of what kind of team they can be or will be at any moment. But here's the thing is, to his point is, look, the Dallas Cowboys will take over this stadium, right? I would say this is that you want to see fans turn out. The Bills fans are going to be there in force, right? Because snowbirds, think of this, snowbirds, people coming from that have been living up north in the cold. They pay a lot of taxes. They moved to North Carolina. Cowboys fans, there's more Cowboy fans, it seems like, outside of Texas than there are in Texas. I think the takeover games are the Cowboys and the Bills. I don't know how well Dolphins fans travel. And by the way, shout out to whoever this Dolphin fan was. We signed Ted Ginn Jr. It was maybe 2012? 2013? The first time he was with us. It must have been 2012. And it was from a Dolphins fan who was sitting behind me in Bank of America. Nicest dude. It was so nice. And he goes, "Stone hands." And I stole it. And I used it on the podcast for 10 years or 8 years. But I don't know if, is at the team, the fan bases that travel, in a sense, or show out are the legacy teams. If we were playing, if Green Bay was here, that would be a Green Bay game. So the Bills, the Cowboys, those are takeover games. I don't think that the Seahawks is a takeover game when it comes to the fans.
No.
So I think those are the two where we actually lose.
The Dolphins probably
look, the
will.
Rams
They've been
fans,
around
who
a
is
long
it? It's
time.
nobody is really a Rams fan.
No. Well,
Yeah,
not out in Los Angeles.
Old school St. Louis ones, right? But they lost that. So look, there's only 2 games that we lose our home field advantage just by the nature of the fan base. So that's how I feel on it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. To me, it just the Panther fans have not had a lot to hold on to in the past few years. Dude, if we can start 4-0, I think that maybe we can have a serviceable showing in that stadium.
I think you want to start 3-1. Make it realistic.
Yeah, but I mean, dude, realistic.
I mean, yeah, you want to start 4-0, but you want to start 3-1.
No shit.
3-1, and then you go 2-2 in the next 4, and all of a sudden you're 5-2, and then we're getting to the point where you're running into the Bills when the team. What is it? Week 6. You start to find out who you are.
All of those first 4 games seem winnable to me.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
The Jaguars, the Jaguars, the Cardinals, the Falcons, and the Patriots do not do a lot to strike fear in my heart, other than the fact that the Patriots, they signed a bunch of people, but still, I don't know. I don't trust them. I like Vrabel.
If you want to get interested, let's look at the schedule of Jacksonville from their record from last year, their record from Arizona last year, Atlanta's record last year, New England's record last year, Miami's record last year, and the Cowboys record last year. In the Jets, all 7 of those are losing. They had a losing record last year.
Justin D. Young in the chat says starting 7-0 is a real possibility.
Yeah,
it might be a possibility, right? It's not probable, but you're right, CK, is that this schedule is very friendly through week 7.
If we're in a situation where we're going into that Bills game with a negative record, a losing record, the season's not looking good.
Who's the toughest team through week 7?
Through week
CK?
7.
Miami.
See, I think Miami. I think that one.
I think the Cowboys. I know it's not popular, but they still got Parsons. They still got a lot of good people.
Right.
Still got
I
CeeDee
don't know.
Lamb.
They have.
I mean, it
CeeDee
might
Lamb
be
and
the
they have
Cardinals,
Parsons, but
dude.
There's not really anybody else.
No,
Hey,
right.
boys,
You're right.
y'all
It's
are
really
forgetting-
Dolphins, Cowboys, and the first 4 are. I think the Cardinals are one of those teams that people don't give any credit to.
But yeah, but they have
I
Marvin
think
Harrison
Cardinals are going to be
Jr.
good or better. They're getting better every year. I would not sleep on the Cardinals. I think the Panthers need to go 2-1 and 3-1 in weeks 1 through 4.
Yeah,
Cody,
But
let's take
there's
another
also
call.
something that you're not realizing.
See, Will's with me. Low key Arizona. I'm telling you, I'm wrong.
Yeah, they have Marvin Harrison, whatever, but y'all are forgetting that we have Clemson legend Hunter Renfrow back out here looking like a Pro
What's that
Bowler.
got to do with the damn Cardinals? Oh,
Because I'm saying, forget the Cardinals. These guys that you're seeing, this is the reason why we can start hotter than anyone thought, man. Yeah, you have Hunter Renfrow looking fast, cutting on a dime.
oh my
I
God.
think he is going
Look
to
at
be
that hairline.
he's going to be such an
Poor
asset
guy.
this year to the Panthers. I really don't think y'all are ready for how my boy's about to be this year. My man Nalo already looking savage with the cuts for the big boy, and Thielen going long. Bro, I'm telling you, man, we can really.
I think the internet is
start
ruined.
and doing some damage this year, boys. Hunter Renfrow is about to be a weapon for the boys. I'm telling you, man.
Thirsty football fans. You saw a football land in somebody's hand, and you're like, "Oh my God,
Nah,
we're going to the Super Bowl."
We've already established this. You're just an old curmudgeon. You don't know what a Clemson legend can do for
Justin
you.
D said, "Freak his hairline, Pete. Look at the footwork."
That's what I'm saying. And JD's a South Carolina fan.
Nah, let's see it. Like, let's see what this
man.
footwork is. Let's see. 1, 2.
That's the
Hold on, no, that's Thielen. Wait.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay.
Boom!
I mean, that's what he's known for. That's what he's known for, and I hope
Pro Bowl.
Look, I mean,
All right, here's my question:
like,
is Hunter Renfrow going to be the best hunter on the field week 1?
I mean, I'm gonna have to say so. Okay.
Are there
I'm
more
gonna have to say,
hunters?
I'm gonna have to say, yeah, Hunter, Travis Hunter for the Jaguars, the guy they traded up for.
No, I'm like, look, I think Renfrow could be a cool Adam Thielen replacement.
Yeah.
Replacement.
man.
I think it's like Adam Thielen. I think this is last season in Carolina, last season in football, maybe.
Bro, he looks fast. Am I wrong? Hunter's looking kind of fast.
Oh
In comparison to Thielen, right there for sure.
Tony, you can't run near that fast, bro.
I am not slow, dude, but I am not fast.
Are you Hunter Renfrow fast?
No, I don't know what I am, but I'm not a football NFL player. I'll go ahead and tell you that.
You said
I
you're
just know
not
this
slow.
is Adam Thielen. Look, is that speed? I think we all get too caught up in speed. You know, Adam Thielen been slow for a minute. He's still putting up numbers.
Yeah.
So
But look
I'm
what my boy
all right with
JD
this.
says.
I
He
love
said, "What's
white
that
boy
speed
dad, like
burst?"
uncles.
Bro, look at what JD says, though. Look at that speed burst. Before the breakdown, he said that's some clean route running.
No, I mean he's gonna be a cool story because he was fighting through a real health issue.
And it's literally the perfect kind of wide receiver for Bryce Young. You know what I'm saying?
I
Like,
agree.
That check down.
You think of those Patriot teams with Tom Brady that had Edelman. To me, that's who those types of guys. So yeah, exciting. All right, let's keep going.
While we still have some good viewership, I want to talk about some battles.
Oh my gosh,
some battles that we can expect on the roster this year. This is from Mike K. Y'all be sure and check him out at the Charlotte Observer. 6 Panthers competitions worth monitoring during OTAs and mandatory minicamp. One of them is center. The Panthers will stage a starting center competition between Austin Corbett and Cade Mays this offseason. Corbett has played well when healthy, but that's been rare over the past 2 years. Mays does a strong job when called upon to replace Corbett during the second half of the season. If Corbett can keep his health in check, this should be one of the more intriguing competitions throughout the summer. First step, make sure the snapping to Bryce Young is on point during OTAs. Boys, who do you give the advantage to at center in 25 for the Panthers?
CK, you want to start?
I think right now you've got to give it to Corbett. Personally, I don't think that there's. I mean, Cade Mays came in and played relatively well, but I don't know. I think you're going to give it to Austin Corbett in this situation.
I agree. I think Austin Corbett should be. Again, injury coming off. I like to see Corbett being, and we talked about potentially drafting a center. Is I want to see Corbett. I expect Corbett to be the starter at the beginning of the season. And then if the battle is a battle, I think it comes because of an injury, because somebody needs to maybe even a small injury. We got to take some plays off and somebody steps in. Right. I don't just, it's hard for me to believe when you saw how well Corbett has played in the past that he's going to lose the battle in camp. If there are real battles in camp, I still want somebody to prove it to
dude,
me.
no love for Christensen. He's just the backup at every position. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he's just
Chris Army.
That's I mean
Chris Army knife.
Even Cade Mays is now more highly considered at that
right
position.
Guard.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, all right, man, we'll see. The next position battle is kicker. Like with centers, the Panthers will entertain a 2-man kicking competition this summer. Nomad specialist Matthew Wright will battle undrafted rookie Ryan Fitzgerald. Despite having more experience, Wright is considered the underdog to Fitzgerald, who made all of his 13 field goal attempts at Florida State last year. Given his history of kicking competitions in Carolina, this one could be determined before the preseason.
Has anybody signed Justin Tucker yet?
No, I don't think
so. What's the wrong in the Panthers just going and getting Justin Tucker and calling it a day?
Because all of the shit surrounding him being a perv.
Yeah.
Is it that? It is.
But now that
is he white Deshaun Watson?
Yes, it's not as many as Deshaun, but apparently more women have come forth.
Just go get a prostitute, Mugs.
Yeah, I don't understand. Like, why are you going to a fucking
like a legitimate? Like you went into a regular massage parlor.
He's going to a massage and he's going to a massage and being fucking blowing loads. How disgusting, man. Yeah, that's the dumbest shit to me. But no, Justin Tucker. But I will say though, I'm pulling for Ryan Fitzgerald just because I want the younger, bigger leg prospect to win the day, just like I wanted with Harrison Butker last year.
I know,
not last year, Harrison Mevis. But Butker too, man. Think
about that. Just think of the Butker curse. A video we did one of our videos. Like it turns out our live streams just do the numbers, and then we make these little videos, and they don't do any numbers. But I thought that was a fun one, the Butker curse. And he outplayed him in the camp, and they got scared.
Dude, every Harrison
Butker went on to be the best, ultimately the best, or one of the best kickers in the league.
And by the way, Harrison Mevis is playing for the Birmingham Stallions right now, same team as Matt Corral. Hasn't missed a kick. So
I don't know. Who are the guys? Who are the two names? I don't even know. Who are the two names?
This Ryan Fitzgerald and Matthew Wright.
Yeah, I don't care about any of these mugs. You know what? I don't hate either of them either yet. Give me a minute though. Give me a minute.
Harvey London says Fitzgerald was one of the very few bright spots that FSU had last season. More battles. The special teams unit in general is going through a transition period, along with housing a new punter and the kicking competition. The unit is still figuring out its returner options. While Raheem Blackshear and David Moore handled the bulk of the return duties last year, the Panthers have brought in several players who have returner experience in the offseason. Fourth-round pick Trevor Etienne is probably the favorite at the kick returner spot and could double up duties as punt returner too. Sixth-round pick Jimmy Horn Jr. and undrafted wideout Jacoby George could also factor into the competition. Xavier Legette and Hunter Renfrow might get some looks as well. So who are we thinking is going to be on the short list for punt returner and kick returner? I would say Trevor Etienne and Jimmy Horn Jr. are probably at the top of that list.
They got to make an impact. By the way, Canes update. They scored on the power play, making it 5-2 with 3 minutes to go. They need 3 goals in 3 minutes. They're starting to pull the goalie any second.
Any thoughts on the returner positions?
No, I mean, you know what is we need some excitement there. And I don't know if there is the new rules have tried to make the kick return more important. And I felt like, everybody returned kicks last year, but no one got anywhere. You know, it's like,
the new rules were sort of,
I don't know. Yeah, but no, it's like this is where these guys, both of these players are going to need to be. They both need to be back there. What if you do that? No. What if you put Etienne and Horn both as returners at the same
I thought that's what you do. You have to put
in the
2 guys back
kickoff,
there, right?
You have 2 guys on the kickoff, and you have 2 threats, and then
I'm
punts.
down for it.
Yeah, I think this is turn it to the young kids. They need to do it.
And to me, it's the fastest way for these young guys to make an immediate impact on the team is on special teams.
All right, what's we doing outside linebacker?
Outside linebacker, DJ Wanham and Patrick Jones are now the veterans of the outside linebacker room following the departure of Clowney. The duo is expected to start at the position, but they will be pushed by a pair of promising rookies. Nick Scorton and Prince Human will look to prove they're ready to be heavily featured in the Panthers pass rush rotation.
I like Princely Human Milan. Watch his tape. I like both of these guys. I like, you said, what do you say, Scorton?
Yeah.
Scorton. But both of these guys really have promise to me. I don't know if I expect them to be dominant, or make impact plays. I think it's kind of sad that you pull up the depth chart and DJ Johnson's third behind those guys already when you kind of invested a lot of him a couple of years ago. I like both of these players, and I want to see. I think the odds were like one of these guys might be able to do something in his rookie year.
Yeah, to me, it's all the above. Like Patrick Jones,
exactly.
Patrick Jones, DJ Wanham, Prince of Human Milan, Nick Scorton, all of these dudes need to be a meaningful part of our pass rush rotation in 2025. Moving on, safety. As of now, Trevor Mooring is the only lot to start at safety, with a bunch of veteran free agents still lingering around the open market. It's on 4th-round pick Leighton Ransom and secondary defensive back Damani Richardson to hold off the big post-off-season move. So many people.
In. That's why we cut Clowney, CK.
So many people are excited, though,
right there
about Leighton Ransom this year, though.
Well, good. And I hope we are. And I hope he is great. And but you're talking about a 4th-round pick, and not that that's like, look, it's not that, I'm like shitting on you for being a 4th-round pick. But CK, this is exactly why you cut a group where you have a bunch of youngins that you're trying to bring up, and you got nobody at this. This is the biggest weakness of the team, and we haven't even talked linebacker.
Again, I mean,
there's nobody at safety, CK. There is nobody. There's not even bodies, bro.
The safety is kind of one of the weakest parts, and we kind of went into this.
I challenge anybody to say there's a position group in more dire straits than the safety group here. You want to tell me this? Is you want to walk into a? Oh no, there's one other safety they got. I think he came from the Ram. We got another dude in free agency, but like the idea is nobody stays healthy at every position. Somebody's gonna get hurt. You can't just walk into the season. We have 3 safeties. The Panthers have to go get a safety.
I'm reminded of another Gettlemanism, though, Tony. When Dave Gettleman once upon a time said you're not going to have great depth at every position on your roster when you only have a limited amount of roster spots.
I understand that, but you do need to have actual
positions.
But you do need to have actual bodies.
You do, but to me, that lack of depth that you're talking about makes it all the more realistic to assume that we're going to see a lot of Lathan Ransom this year.
Yes, you're exactly right. Exactly right.
Yeah, man. But
he also is in the big box receiver.
Yeah,
I mean, big box safety, 100%. And Morg is too. So you don't have a roamer.
And he's played 3 different positions at Ohio State and played them a bunch too, like not just a few here and there. But I mean, he's played a lot of different ones too. But I think they're going to use him as an asset.
Empty net, by the way. Empty net.
I think he's going to be a big time run defender. I think that's part of the reason why they drafted him in the first place. But yeah, man, lots of people excited for Lathan Ransom. And the final position group here, wide receiver. The Panthers have packed their wide receiver unit with depth this offseason. First round pick Teddy Rowe McMillan is expected to be the team's top target, while last year's top pick Xavier Leggett and trusty veteran Adam Thielen are expected to retain rotational roles. Jalen Coker appears to be the best positioned returning wideout behind that trio after a strong second half to his rookie campaign. From there, competition is brewing between Moore, Horn, George, Dan Chiesa, Kobe Hudson, and the others. Panthers are likely to keep 6 players at the position. So this is another good conversation too. How many wide receivers do you imagine that we're going to be keeping? Is that number 6? Because I think 6 seems to be the most popular number. JD here in the chat too.
We got Tet, we got XL with Thielen, Renfrow, Coker. Yeah, they were definitely keeping 6.
Yeah.
Shout out to David Screws with C3 Love Bomb. We're going to keep pounding to the playoffs. The way to win, our pathway to the playoffs is winning the division. And it's possible. It's possible. Thank you for that donation. You guys are so incredibly important to us. Don't forget to smash the thumbs up button, subscribe. What you can do that really helps the show, even if you can't give a monetary donation, is to just click the share link, tell somebody. I named in my new house, so I just moved here. I named my Wi-Fi the C3 Panthers Podcast, so my neighbors would just have to see the name.
Yeah, I like that.
As this, I'm getting a security system updated or come back, and it was like, I got the guy listening to the podcast who sold me the security system. So one listener, one person, it really helps us. We've been in the doldrums, and as Panther fans, and if you're listening right now, you've been in the thick of it with us. And just wait until Panthers are on the come up, and then you know what? The Legion, everybody's gonna remember who the real of the real is, like the real AP, who is a C3 super fan for just a $1.99 a month. You can make a small difference in keeping this show going, and not just we're gonna keep doing it and stuff like that, but again, there are bills to pay, small bills to pay, that actually costs us money to do the podcast. So we thank you for your ears. We thank you if you give a donation. But more than anything, I thank you for your time.
Is there
Cody,
3 more calls and then we're out.
Let's do it.
Yo, what's going on, C3? It's Anthony from Charlotte. Hope your boys are having a good Tuesday, man. It's been a minute since we've all caught up, man. A lot has come by, rookie minicamp. Now we got workouts going on. The draft, feels like month is just flying by. Just wanted to talk about, I saw the title of the show, are the Carolina Panthers poised for legitimacy in 2025? First off, I want to say it'd be cool if we could all get together for some back together Saturday or something. Love to meet some more of you C3 brethren out there, man. But in terms of the question, man, my answer is they better be. And the reason I say that is because this is a team that has spent a lot of money in free agency the past 2 years. We've been top 5 in spending, cap space wise. We've invested in the defense heavy, the offense heavy. It really seems like this roster is starting to come into their own. Hopefully some young guys can really make a stamp on the team. Wallace, middle linebacker. Hopefully Leggett takes a step. I'm really excited about T-Mac and Bryce Young this year. But my answer is they better be. And yes, obviously a little bit of that has to play into it's been 7 years and eventually they got to get this train rolling. And I really feel like it's starting to feel that we know that we have a good front office and a good coach. And listen, with a horrible roster last year, tons of injuries, we were a couple plays away from being 8-9, okay? And I feel like if we were 8-9, there would be a lot more certainty about, oh yeah, we're going to do some things this year, which I still think is possible. You look at our schedule, there's a couple teams that like 2 or 3 teams that I say, yeah, we're not going to win that game, but everyone else, man, I feel like we have the edge personally, or it's a 50-50 game. And that gets me really excited because last year I couldn't say that about anyone on the schedule, just because I didn't know what to expect with the first time coach. So again, my answer is they better be legit. This division, I think, I'm not buying the Michael Penix hype yet. The Saints are going to be a top 2 worst team in the league. The Bucs, yes, they've won the division for several years in a row. I think it's going to be hard to win it 3 years in a row with Baker. They didn't really upgrade any of their defensive needs. So yeah, my answer is, man, they better be competitive in December. And I think they got that part down. The part that this team needs to get down is we need to start off strong. Go out, have a great September and October, and let's win the NFC South. Anthony from Charlotte.
Thank you, Anthony, for Charlotte.
Pounding.
Great name.
Those are 2 more calls.
What's up, C3? How y'all doing tonight? It's yours truly, Nova Black. It's been a while.
Nova Black.
Yo.
What's up, brother?
I love y'all. All y'all. The entire fan base from top to bottom. Man, I've been running with you guys for a long time. And a lot of us have been running with you guys for a long time. And we've been through all the ups and downs with the Panthers. Man, we done got in arguments and all that other stuff about, things that we disagree on. Offense, defense, this player, that player. We've been through a lot, And I just want to come on here, and show a little love. I ain't got a lot to say. I'm absolutely satisfied with everything Dan Morgan has done since he took the reins over this team. I'm talking about in the first off season, that's what we came into the season with. Nobody saw it coming. We thought we might have had something. Derek Brown went down and shit unraveled, and we realized how much we didn't have. But this year, I saw Dan double down on the fortress that he's trying to build here, and I'm optimistic about it moving forward. On that note, fellas, I'm going to wrap it up. I ain't going to keep this thing long. I'm going to try to keep it short as I can. I know we got, 3 minutes, and I'm running at 2. Well, again, I'm absolutely satisfied. I'm happy. I want to show you guys some love. I think we're going to have a pretty good season. I dare say 10-7 or whatever. That's good enough for me. Even if we get 9, I wouldn't give a damn. Better than last year. See us win some games, beat some teams that may make it to the playoffs and give us hope for the next season. And hopefully Dan will triple down and do as good as he did the last 2 years. Anyway, guys, love y'all. Keep pounding, keep pushing this good Panthers shit, man. You know, this is not only the longest running, but this is the best Panthers podcast in the game. I'm out.
Nova, that's my
Shout out
brother,
Nova.
man. He'd be rolling with Joe and I back in the day.
Love
It's a
Nova
real-
Black.
It's a real dude right there.
Do you remember
Thank-
doing the podcast at my
Yeah.
house with Nova when Nova came over that one time when I was beat red?
Your house? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, no, yeah. So there was the game when I didn't go to that game, but I think you did, and then
Yeah.
y'all both came back to my house. Yeah, Nova came to my crib and watched
And
the game.
then Nova also did the live draft pick.
Yeah,
from-
he introduced Brian Burns.
Was it
draft
Brian
pick.
Burns?
Yeah,
Was
from
it
Bank of
Brian?
America
Yeah.
Stadium. Yeah.
Man, he's
Yeah,
my
that was
boy.
good memories, man. Shout out to
he's
Nova, bro.
Good. Look, I can't tell you how many people in this community that have made such a big difference in my life. Just as real fucking
Same,
friends, dude. Real friends.
Same.
Let's hit that next call. Is this the last one?
Yeah, final one of the night.
What's up, C3? This is Keep Pounding from the Keep Pounding YouTube channel.
Yeah, man. Check out Keep Pounding
And
YouTube
I wanted
channel.
to briefly mention Musa Muhammad's son
Oh, yeah.
is waived
Perfect.
on injuries.
That was
I
the
don't know
last
if
thing.
you guys saw that in the news today.
On wave. Going
But,
practice squad soon.
I'm very optimistic about what this roster looks like and what we're about to do this year. I think we have a solid shot at the division. My ceiling is 9 wins at the moment, which puts us in the conversation. And my floor is 7. And
Oh,
I've seen a
nice.
lot of situations
7
where
floor.
injuries have cost us a playoff run. So be aware of that. And also the Dolphins don't fare well against playoff contenders. I've noticed that when I was looking at the stats and scores in the last 2 to 3 years. So I think it's going to be a very interesting year. I'm looking forward to what's going to come out of this. I love what the offense looks like on paper. We're going to see what it looks like once we see it on the field. But defensively, we still got some work to do. So it's going to be a third year of work here. But the rebuilding process is going well, in my opinion, and I'm really looking forward to what's coming.
Good call. Great call. You know what?
Yes,
I'm going to
sir.
give applause. The last 3 calls, I'll get an applause.
Yeah, man, dude.
I don't know if you can hear it.
Huh?
Can you hear that? Oh, there we go.
Yeah, there we go.
I got the soundboard back. Thank Jesus.
Yeah.
Man,
Uh,
wonderful stuff. I want to thank all the homies, man, the OGs from Nova, Real AP, and I know there's a bunch more in there. Nick Montero, my boy. Don't worry, I'm not forgot. I'm getting the worked out. We're gonna be working out the great vacation together. So thankful for the people on this panel, and the opportunity that we've had. It has been a long run, though. You brought this up, Cody. The 6 years are long, bro. This is long, and we're like we need some manna. God gotta give us some manna. We need some bread. We need the bread to eat. But I'm so thankful. Appreciate all the people that have tuned in. Make sure you smash the thumbs up button, subscribe, check out Keep Pounding YouTube. Rising tide lifts all boats.
Yeah.
Cody,
Let's
finish this show out, bro. Longest running Panthers podcast, and not look. I know people think that's a brag. Nah, it's not a brag. It's just a badge of honor, bro. We've just been doing it now. Just keep going. We ain't gonna stop. We've been through some difficult parts. I'm telling you, it's been tough at some moments to sign on.
Mm-hmm.
But guess what? We still here. We still fans. We still going to keep pounding. Cody, let's finish out this show with the longest running segment on the longest running Panthers podcast. It's time to ice some fools up.
Let's do it.
Ice up, son. Ice up.
It's our moment. It's our homage to Steve Smith, where we tell someone to ice up, toughen up to get it together. Sadly, over the last year, the ice up segment, our homage to Steve Smith, has become a continual ice up to him. I don't know if you've seen this. Do you remember when the shit that happened with Steve Smith guys broke? I said, oh, Lord, somebody look up the Maryland laws about laws of affection.
Yeah.
Now, there's stories that pop up on my timeline on Facebook. Like, I'm very reluctant on clicking on stories on Facebook because I feel like somehow Facebook, and I don't know, I've really been off of social media a lot, been, I won't say distracted, but detached from those universes. But I feel like a lot of stuff I've seen on Facebook when it comes to even Panther fan groups has been like this weird shit. Like, it's like not only clickbait, but like extreme clickbait where it's like so false from the beginning. But I have seen a story floating around for Steve Smith that's like facing big problems. And I told you guys, loss of affection shit. And that boy, anyway, it's our homage, Steve Smith. Our tip of the cap. It's our time to tell someone to ice up, toughen up, to get it together. Anyone is fair game. Family, friends, ourselves, people we hate, or just people dying on the internet or almost dying on the internet. Who knows what you get in the ice up segment? Who's ready to rock?
So I feel like I've been slacking the past really a couple of weeks
7
in a row.
months.
So yeah, I've got 3.
Me too. Don't worry.
I've got 3 that are
ice up to us for slacking.
Yeah, really. I have
segment.
3 that kind of run the gamut
Let's rock it. Let's go.
of shocking, then hilarious, then what the fuck are we doing? So
I'm excited.
So listen, it's Mother's Day was this past month. I hope everybody had a great Mother's Day for their moms. Some people had better Mother's Days than others. Let me take this down. Don't know why StreamYard does this. But yeah, some Mother's Days are more adventurous and active than others.
Oh.
And walked away.
Got up and walked away.
Got up and walked away.
How about this? Is that there are people fighting, and it wasn't even the person that got blasted by the car.
Let's play it one more time. I'm gonna go from the start.
Look, I don't think the woman fighting is the one that even got hit by the car.
But look, it's actually hit the wall and nothing happened.
Oh, she got up on that hood.
Oh, dude, that's wild.
Gotta be light on your feet. Yeah, she was. Somebody threw a shoe.
Yeah, but then they're fighting in the background.
Yeah, but it's not even her. It's like other group.
Yeah.
How about this? This is a fucking gang war right here.
Dude, there's some shit going on in this dog. So ice up to everybody doing too much at the Dollar Tree on Mother's Day, man.
The Dollar Tree.
At the Dollar Tree. Y'all want a ping pong? Y'all got one?
All right. CK, what you got?
I'll make mine
okay.
Pretty easy here. It's kind of been a topic of debate on the internet lately, and Ryan Clark. I'm going to do this just to rile people up.
Yeah, dude.
Ryan Clark has been playing like this this crazy role as of late, where there's some like hypocrisy in some of the stuff that he's done, but he's basically calls everybody out for not understanding the plight of a black woman or what have you. And again, I have no opinion on that matter, but he basically when RG3 made comments about Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, and it was a sports take, not one of regarding race. It was just about two people that he felt had disdain for one another, or at least one party had disdain for the other, meaning Angel Reese's disdain for Caitlin Clark. And Ryan Clark's, position on the matter was RG3 essentially. And again, this is me oversimplifying it, but RG3 doesn't understand what it's like to be, what the plight is for black women because he decided to marry a white woman.
He called him, I keep my mouth shut.
But it's, so I mean, as far as like the situation, it's making him, and here's the thing, it's riling up a lot of people because they have an opinion of him too. But I try my best to keep an open mind with much of this stuff, but it's just he's had too many takes of the past like few little bit to where it's like just been, it's clear this dude is just out of his mind. It's a virtue signaler of massive proportions. And so that's my ice up is Ryan Clark being in a situation where he's judging other people and being pretty hypocritical about his judgment as well.
Yeah, super hypocritical. I mean, he's making the assertion that you can't speak on black women unless you have a black wife, but as if RG3 doesn't have a black mom, black aunts, black sisters.
Well, I've never,
the whole thing is
Hawkins
rooted.
has never been to space,
right?
But he knows there's a difference between experiential knowledge and knowledge.
It's
right. I mean, think about this.
It's a lot of
is Buzz Aldrin. Who knows more about space, Buzz Aldrin or Stephen Hawkins? They're different types of knowledges, and you know what? Ice up to people.
Ice up to hypocrites, man. People talk out of both sides of the mouth. I can't stand them.
Wait till you're in that position one day, folks. Wait until you're in the position, and all of a sudden you want some grace. Give people grace. Give people,
Nobody wants to give grace until they need it themselves.
That's right.
So this is along the same vein. So this is my controversial ice up pick, and it's not really controversial, but it's sort of along the same veins as what CK was talking about. So the Indiana Fever
is that Portnoy?
Yeah, the Indiana. Well, Portnoy has been all over this thing with Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark. I don't watch any form of basketball, be it men's or women's.
She's good for women's
no
basketball.
Doubt, dude. She's the big. I don't care what anyone says. She's the biggest superstar women's basketball has ever had, bar none. No one ever
be dropping shit from like half court, bro.
Yeah, she's already broke another record tonight of like the most certain amount of points scored in only 42 games or something. Anyway, what I'm bringing up is they were booing Angel Reese so bad during the game last night that apparently the WNBA, I don't even know if this is real, but Polymarket is even betting on it to the point where they say there's a 53% chance of it happening, that the WNBA is considering banning fans from booing.
Why?
They were
booing who?
Because they're saying that people booing Angel Reese are being racist, even though there hasn't been one video of anyone saying anything even remotely wild to her at all.
If you're a fan,
dude,
this is a sport about fans. Every sport is a fan sport, Cody.
Imagine you did this in the age of Bird and Johnson.
I don't know how what age we did this.
But how incredible that rivalry was. How incredible that rivalry was, that you're going to take the fans' emotions out of it. It's the dumbest shit in the world.
It's a spectator sport.
Dude, I thought that the virtue signaling had finally died in our culture, and it hasn't, dude. It's gotten even fucking worse. And it's dumb as hell. And the NBA the WNBA, after all the influx of new fans that they have, it seems like now they're trying everything in their power to push them away the moment that they finally come in the door. So
you need to be welcoming booing if you're in the WNBA. Like so you're on the news, right? Like it's like fans booed tonight. You're on the news. You're in this cycle. All right.
Yep.
I got two ice up picks. My first ice up pick goes to Carolina Hurricanes, who fell 5-2 tonight. Been smoking it through the playoffs. Been smoking it all season. The concern with that team has been for the last several years, can they make a deep playoff run? And you got blasted in game 1, so ice up to you. My second ice up pick is very simple. Little Action Bronson, if you guys want to go old school, a little older school. I know I'm an old head. Young kids don't know about this.
Is Action Bronson considered old school?
I think so, right? Like
not
7,
to me,
8 years.
but I'm old now too. So what the fuck?
So, no, like how long is it?
Dude, he's been around for
a minute, right?
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
I see you standing in the rain, holding her hand. I'll never be the same. You know what I'm icing up is Moving in the motherfucking rain. Moving in the rain. I got my house. You know what I'm saying? When I called you guys, I told you I was like, I'm moving. Everybody's like, people who don't move, they're like, did you get all your stuff in? I'm like, bitch, I didn't get my stuff in. It's been one day. It was a fucking nor'easter in North Carolina, in Eastern North Carolina. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Torrential. We had 3 inches of rain on Tuesday. I'm icing up Moving in the rain. Bro, I walked outside and got something, and it wasn't even like it was like a break. Like the rain had stopped, but the fucking water was still pouring off the fucking roof. And I just picked up one thing and my whole back was wet. I'm telling you, moving in the rain, ice up.
Ice up. My final ice up. Very short, very sweet, very to the point. This headline. I had a threesome with a bisexual woman and my dead husband's ghost.
Oh, hell yeah.
He finally got this happy ending.
Oh, finally took care of him. He had to die for it to happen.
Dude, this is on the New York Post. Like, this is a real headline.
It's a tabloid.
Oh my gosh. Oh, yeah. So I was about to say
he finally got his happy ending. You know what? You should have said I had a threesome with a bisexual woman and my dead husband.
The story should just be a woman has gay sex. Like, that's literally all it is, dude.
Dude, I just spit my drink out, bro. All right.
Like, that's literally all it is.
Having sex with ghosts.
Yeah,
you
dead husband's ghost.
You said gay sex. It's okay. It's okay.
Just say you had gay sex. It's fine. People do that shit nowadays.
Oh my God, that might be my favorite of all time. You're listening to the C3 Panthers Podcast, longest running Panthers podcast. You can do us a solid, smash the thumbs up button, subscribe, be a part of the show by calling in each and every week at 252-228-5098. Be a C3 super fan. Again, what you do, the best way to give this podcast is your time, your energy, and a little share. Hey, let's share. Let's make it a foursome. Let's make it freaky and put this shit. Let's have some group podcasting going on. Cody, CK, you guys are the best. Take us out of here, Cody.
Love your buddies. All right. Until this Friday at 7 p.m. for another edition of the C3 Friday Free for All. I'm Cody Lashley. That's Codizzle Allen. That's the Professor Tony Dunn. Until next time. C3 Legion, keep pounding.